All right, cool. So, Paul, welcome to the podcast, brother.
G'day, g'day. Good to be here again.
Yeah, excited, bro. So, today, man, we got a very, very cool topic, which is something that is completely underrated in the marketing and sales world, and that's actually keeping your clients as a coach. And so, I guess one of the most important things with a business is all about sustainability and knowing that you're going to have a guaranteed income for a long period of
Mm.
time. And it's actually bloody hard to get a client these days. It's
Oh,
it's a lot of
absolutely.
work. Yeah, and so if we can improve, I guess, the retention rates of our clients, life is a lot better. And so today, man, we're going to have a wee yarn about basically like how to never lose another online client again. Over to you, bro.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, this is what I do with Mamba and what I teach most of my students anyway. It's how to keep clients for a long time. If you have a client, like I think one of the most powerful metrics in any business is average client or client lifetime value. Like
Mhm.
if your client lifetime value is in the thousands and thousands of dollars, you have an incredible business. You know that when you bring a client on, so you've spent so much in acquisition or in terms of if you're spending on ads or time in acquisition if
Yep.
you're selling organically, which both are commodities. You know, if your client acquisition, your client lifetime value, sorry, is like say $6,000. You know that spending $60 in the ad, who cares? That's easy because you're going to make 100 times return on investment. Or if you can't be asked sending a DM or following up someone, if you know that hey, I can't be bothered sending a DM or messaging a client, but it's going to make me $6,000, you're basically giving yourself permission to slap yourself in the face. You it's a no-brainer to actually do the work at that point. And it can be a very motivating thing when you see that you have a high lifetime value. And when you have a high client lifetime value, your business is valuable. And you know that any time you spend into growing your business is going to have a certain dividend, like a predictable dividend. Like I know that when I bring a new client on, I know, cool, this is going to bring me in roughly 10K. So for me, like if someone messages me like you damn bet, I'm going to be like, hey, what's your number? Let's book a call because I'm going to get a awesome ROI. So there's basically 3 points that three pillars of keeping a client together. So like to obviously go through that today so we can help everyone keep their clients for a longer period of time.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And like one of the key points you put there, man, is about that client lifetime value, and quite often, I guess for a lot of coaches out there, we don't actually know what that means.
Mm.
So maybe, man, if you could give us a bit of a rundown in terms of what a good client lifetime value is and how you would determine that in your business.
Okay,
Just before we
cool.
kick in.
Yeah, easy. So with lifetime value, basically you look at your clients, how much they spend per week, how long they stay with you, and you average those two out. So like for me, my numbers can be skewed somewhat because I've had some clients, like I actually renegotiated a deal with a client today who I've had for 16 years. So they're
Mhm.
skewing my lifetime value because shit, I'm not keeping everyone for 16 years. I'd hope not. I'd be bored out of my brain of dealing with these people. So basic rule of thumb is work out what your packages are. So, if you've got low end, high end, whatever. So say $60 a week as an
Yep.
online package, which is fairly standard. If you've got a client for $60 a week, then you know that if their lifetime value is 1 year, 60 times 52, you got that client lifetime value is $3,120. My average online client that I'm seeing, or student, like we can break it up either way. Say
Yep.
clients pay me $60. I'm averaging most online clients now been around with me, the older ones, for around 3 to 4 year mark. So I
Yep.
know that I'm making 3,120. They're around for 2 years. As a minimum, I'm going to get, we'll say 2 years. Oh, that's terrible mathematics. It's about 6.5 grand for every
Yep.
client who comes on, and that's on my uh, medium end offer. So $60 a week is not my high end. Like if I bring up a client to my high end program, which is $150, and they stay around for a year, which is happening, which is really cool. I know that person is going to bring in 7,800. If I keep them for 2 years, that's $15,600. So it's an easy metric to do. So you find out very quickly what your lifetime value is based on where your clients drop off. So if they're dropping off at 12 weeks, for example, their lifetime value is their weekly value times 12. If it's 24 weeks or whatever metric it is, it's a very simple metric to calculate. And I think Stripe does do it for you
It
automatically.
does. Yep.
The
It
problem with
does.
Stripe's one too is it depends how you pause them or you stop them. And if you change their plan subscription, it actually gives you like a false churn, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So another, like my lifetime value according to Stripe, I go right here is 2,242.6. But the issue with that, and this is where a bit of manual tracking doesn't hurt every now and then, is I bought a bunch of clients who've only started like in the last 2 weeks, right? So that's dropped down my lifetime value. So using your Stripe, overall, it's a very good metric of your business's longevity when you're looking at through Stripe or whatever, but there's certainly a ton of value of looking at, all right, cool, when did my clients start? How much have they spent? And then you can divide it and work it out that way. So there's a few ways to go about working it out.
And that's the crazy thing, man, is like, look, if you know that you could bring in a client and $6,000, you bring in 2 of those clients every single month, you've just added $12,000 to your business. And so that's a very, very good metric. And today, bro, we got 3 little things we're going to touch on. And our first one, man, is probably something that's a bit lost. It's just a bit of love and self-care after you've actually made the sale.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names. Teaching point 1, or the pillar 1, is basically we want to, when we sign a client up, right, and we're in that initial sales pursuit, we're going to call it a sales pursuit. We'll spend a lot of time messaging them, answering their questions, sending them resources, etc. Because we want to make the sale and we want to help that person. And then they get in the program, and then it's 1 check in a week, and that's all the input they get from us. And for a lot of clients, not for all, the person matters, and the level of clients, which I've talked about ad nauseum in other podcasts we've done. And pretty much every day, it's all I seem to talk about, the level of client. If they've gone from having a high degree of accessibility and interaction with you to 1 check-in a week that takes 2 minutes, for example, it creates a real big disconnect for that client. They go, oh, shit, I'm just a number, rather than I'm someone who's valued and cared for by this particular person. I don't give a shit, I want to leave. So when I'm working with clients, as I said before, I break clients down to levels. 1 are beginners, 2 they're pretty good, 3 are high-level clients. Depending on the program they buy will determine the amount of interaction they get. And I have predetermined time periods of how often I'm going to interact with my clients. My goal is to make them as autonomous as possible. So I don't have to interact with them every single day. But in the initial stages, I want to make sure that I have more interaction with them, so then they feel more comfortable. It takes care of the onboarding process for them, and they have less doubts. So to run through that initially, let's say a level 1 client, I sign up a level 1 client, so someone who's not very experienced in the gym, etc. Like they'll get their intake form, they'll fill out all their stuff, payment, we'll do the Zoom call or the phone call that we do the sale on. And then when they have their first workout, I actually ask the client, when's your first workout? And they go, oh, I'm going to do my first workout on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Cool. I'll put a little note in my Todoist, and I have it synced up to my calendar to give me a notification at 4 o'clock. Hey, Dylan, hope you have an awesome workout at 4 o'clock. Let me know if you have any issues. It's such a quick little touch that makes such a difference to clients. Or the other thing I might do is, if I know someone's a level 2 client and they've had some training experience, hey, when are you having your first workout? Oh, I'm going to do it at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Cool. Message at 6:30 p.m. Hey, Dylan, how'd you go with your first workout? Your legs dead? Different approach for a different skill of client. So like to give a very basic example of people that I had now, I signed up 2 clients quite recently, one a total beginner or gone back to a beginner, and one who's been training for ages. The level 1 client, I was like, hey, let me know how you go with your first workout, any dramas. And she messaged me as soon as she finished saying, oh, that was awesome, no problems, etc. It was really, really good. I feel really motivated. And now she hasn't missed, I think everyone can learn from this, she hasn't missed a single check-in or filling in a single detail in her team builder and her food journal for me since she started, because she felt she was cared for from day dot. So from her now, our coaching is really, really simple. She looks at her food journal and she goes, oh, I drank way too much booze. That's my problem. Cool, what are you going to do about it? And she's like, oh, I'm just not going to drink from Monday to Friday. With the level 2 client, I basically sent her a little bit of a smart ass message saying, can you walk yet? Are your ass cheeks thinking of me? Because it was a glute dominant workout. And she's like, Paul, I love and hate you a little bit, hey. But that was sick. And basically we came up with a little hashtag for our workouts. It was like, our workouts with this client is hashtag fancy. So every now and then, like I'm just to keep her engaged, I message her hashtag fancy. And she's just then if she's got any questions, she responds, and she, any questions, she sends me a message, and we have an interaction. So that's one of the things that I'll do. The other one is I'll do a general text message to clients, but I will change the name. So every Monday, it's kind of like a motivational Monday type thing. Hey guys, make sure you don't miss 2 in a row. Shout to Rusty Clark for that one. Make sure you don't miss 2 in a row. Hope you have a good week. Hope the wind's not too bad because it's really windy at the moment, like whatever's topical. But that message goes out to everyone, push through their training app. Wednesday, hey guys, hope you're all doing really well. Any problems, please let me know, etc. And then Friday is like, hey guys, check-ins are coming in today. So for that time of sending 3 not automated, but you could automate it, but 3 very simple text messages that get pushed to everyone, I normally get about 8 to 10 responses from clients. And a lot of them aren't things that I need to stress about. It's like, it keeps them engaged in the program. It might even be a simple thumbs up to the message, a hand up. So that there helps keep my retention super high. One other step with that as well, so just last thing, with initial follow-up is it scales down over time. Okay, so that's one thing. I don't message out every client who just starts up every first workout. I'll actually cut it down, like say by week 4, where I only message them once a week individually to make sure that they're doing okay on top of their check-in. And at that point, then they just become a normal client. So my goal is to make them as autonomous as possible and not rely on me. I'll drop one more thing before we go to the next point, because I'm aware of the time. The last thing I do, and this one is an absolute game changer for coaching and getting the result for the client, is I've made it a condition of working with me now that for the first week, whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, whether you're advanced, is you have to film every lift. Not every set, just one set of each lift and send it to me. And we fix so many problems so quickly. It's actually bonkers. And it also gives you so much awesome information as a coach. So it's a little time consuming, a little bit, but if it's great because I get them to send it to me via Instagram, via at Facebook. I don't care how they do it. And I respond to each exercise, I guess, with a response that's relative to that. So they're doing it good. I'm like, Dylan, you're doing awesome on your bicep curls. You don't need any more from me. And the client gets that little, chuffed feeling that they've done something well. If they're bad, we predict problems straight away and we can change the program and individualize it. So it lets you know how experienced someone truly is without having shit go downhill. It's like one guy I was working with, he's like, oh yeah, my bend over row is great. I got great form. And then next minute, I think I showed it on the Mamba call, actually. He was standing on the step in the squat rack. I'm like, why are you standing on a step? And his bent over rows were initiated by driving his knees forward. So he was wondering why he was getting so little back stimulus out of it and just getting a sore back. It's because by back stimulus, I mean upper back. It's because he was just swinging the weight on his lumbar spine. So by doing that, I was able to go, all right, cool. You suck at them, obviously. Let's put you into a seated row and then get some stimulus without doing it. And he's a lot happier. His back doesn't hurt. And all I had to do was change something that I would have had to change eventually anyway. I was just able to predict it.
A lot sooner.
A lot sooner. So it's pretty simple. Just do a little bit more chat with your clients at the beginning.
And that's one of the biggest things, like, especially with an online program, is generally this happens. They'll get a sore back. They won't tell us as coaches. 2 or 3 weeks down the road, you don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden they're canceling, or they're like, oh no, I don't want to carry on to your 12-week program. It's not nothing generally wrong with the program or whatever, but you just haven't actually assessed it or caught it before it even happens.
Yeah. Which is pillar 3, but we'll come to that later.
Yeah. It's but that's massive, man. And I really like that term you use there, like that hashtag fancy. And those little things and those little touch points and that little bit of care is like that builds your online community. Like a lot of people say, hey, look, I got my gym. That's why people come to see me, because they love the community. But those little things connect all the dots, which is very, very cool as well.
Yeah, it keeps people engaged in the whole process.
Absolutely, man. And man, I guess this is all great. One thing you said there, and a lot of people probably listening to this, like, shit, that sounds like a lot of work. But where do we put these touch points in, and how do we make them so that, it doesn't take hours and hours to actually make it happen?
Yeah, so that's literally pillar 2, like add your multiple touch points. So you automate them and you manually do it as well. Yep. So with the automation, it's kind of like things like the weekly check-in emails and send all your data and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff should be automated. So what I did is I sat down, I wrote out, all right, cool. What does a client need to have to feel like they've had an awesome experience and to feel like they're actually valued, listened, etc. So obviously check-in is one of them. They need to have a weekly check-in, and a lot of them need to be reminded to check in as well. And from speaking to a lot of online coaches, one of the biggest issues they have is clients don't fill in their check-ins.
Yeah,
I'm like, do you remind them to? No. I'm like, well, that's your problem. So like that's a simple email automation sequence that done once, repeat forever. You don't need to think about ever again. The client would probably appreciate a few text messages a week. Okay, cool. So how can we automate it? Or do we need to do it manually? We could write up a series of text messages and put them into an app, or we could just do a push notification to everyone that we use.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I know that I'm spending, okay, cool, I have to write a message. It's going to take me a minute. That's kind of like, I'd say it's kind of like halfway between a manual and automation, because it goes to everyone. You're just doing it once.
Mm-hmm.
With program design, that's another touch point that should be automated as much as you can. You literally give the client like a template, which I've talked about in, I think, one of our other podcasts, or definitely in our weekly hives.
Yep.
Do that, because then you don't need to spend all the time doing that. Programming takes trainers hours. It should only take minutes. It should take hours when you're writing a bunch of programs. It should take minutes. With the checking in clients of their exercise type stuff, the onboarding process is where a lot of this stuff should happen. So with the onboarding, and this kind of builds into pillar 3 as well, is you tell your clients in the beginning the things that you need for them. So that on week 1, the expectation is that you do A, B, C, and D. So you know that when they need to do A, B, C, and D, that if they don't send it to you, you can simply send a message, a follow-up, getting them to do it, or get your VA to do it. The thing with online training is that, yeah, it's still work that we need to do, but the thing is, it is a trade of time for money. It takes very little time for a lot of money in terms of the scale. So if I wanted to follow up every in-person client in the gym, I'd have to spend like 15 minutes and going over everything. Online, we can send a push notification to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the tech you use and look at how can it be done as quickly as possible. Like how can you reach out to multiple people with push notifications and stuff like that. Also use, and this is something I talk about, and I think I'm going to talk about in one of the longer form courses that we've got next year coming up for IC, little preview there, is automating your brain and outsourcing your brain. I don't think about shit. I didn't even know we had this podcast on until today I had it in the calendar, right? So I'm like, cool, I know while I'm doing this, I don't need to worry about the rest of the day. It's automated. As soon as a client says something that's of value or something that I can go, all right, cool. Like I know she writing down notes earlier when we're talking. I put it into a Todoist with a date immediately when I think about it, because even though it's a manual task, it's automated that I have to do it. If that makes any sense. And a lot of trainers miss this. They try and remember everything about everyone. You're never going to do that. It's not efficient, it's not effective, and it's tiring as shit. Like my main role is answering questions all day and solving problems. It's tiring because I have to remember a lot of stuff. So I outsource absolutely everything I don't need to a phone, basically. So I like using Todoist. You could use Monday, you could use Asana. I don't care what you use as long as you like it. I like using Todoist because it's set up to my calendar. It's like message Dylan at 4 p.m. on Monday the 3rd, and it sends me a notification on doing that to message Dylan. By doing that system there, it allows me to do all the manual work, but realistically, I'm spending no more than 3 to 5 hours a week on my online business per week in terms of the actual delivery, and that's including all the check-ins. If we're going to talk about trading time for money, if you've got like a 6-figure business and you're working 5 hours a week on delivery, and you could probably reduce that a little bit too by speeding up some of these sequences, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, bro. And it's one of those things that I guess, man, and you might be able to share your journey through this as well, where if you're an in-person coach right now doing, 40 sessions a week, and you're just listening to Uncle Paul here tell us that you can work 5 hours a week for 100 clients, they're probably saying you're full of shit, man. How do you do it? And it is 100% possible. Like we've both done it. What's sort of been your journey to make this happen?
Cool. So with my journey, like as you know, before, like I ran a gym, it was a 7-figure gym, which is a lot of, that's a shit ton of work. If we're going to talk about work, that's
Absolutely.
way more work. You're there at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. at night. And then people complain about online's hard work. Online's hard work. Like we got people like good old Trent who's doing everything, all his job from his bed. Um, it's not hard work. Hard work's laying bricks and stuff like that, or shearing sheep. That's hard work. This is fun. Online is hard at the beginning for 3 reasons. The first one is client acquisition and not knowing how to do that. Join Mamba, simple. Tells you how to do it. It's no better program. Number 2 is having the systems, knowing what systems to use and doing that. So most people don't use systems. They just try and run it how they're doing in-person sessions. It's different, very different skill set. If you automate it and use technology, it can become very, very time efficient. Point 3 is know what you're doing and know what data sets you want from each client to work on your coaching processes. So with me, I was working in a gym, sold it, got rid of it, etc. Still did the semi-private thing. And then for a while, I was killing time, basically. I was actually waiting for a job in an AI company developing program design software. I was still doing semi-private training in the commercial facility. So that was funny because the other trainers had to shit me all the time because I would see 12 to 15 clients in an hour, or they were doing one-on-ones for half an hour at a time. And they're like, man, how do you see so many clients? I'm like, well, I've systemized the programming. So I just walk around and just make sure they don't hurt themselves, or I push them harder. So I'd already moved that process towards automating because that's what I had in my gym. And I was building up the online, everything I did in the gym. I looked at how will I deliver that to someone in the digital space? So programming, you have to do it if you're going to deliver it to someone in digital space. So how do I deliver a program that's effective in person, effective online? Write a 12-week template, give it to the client. They could do it on their off days. That's what you're going to do with online business. Do that now. Nutrition coaching and checking in. How am I going to do that? Am I going to do in-person consults all the time? No, I can't be bothered. I'm lazy. We're all lazy. This is why we do this. We try and work more efficiently. So cool. What do we use? We use Google Form. People can fill in their food journal, or they can submit their MyFitnessPal or their chronometer or whatever it is. And they get a digital, like an online review, like a check-in each week. So with every single booking, like an extra phone call, how do people book it in? I have availabilities, and they kick a calendar link and it automatically sends them a Zoom link. And that's the times I have are the times I have. That's it. There's no more. And I only offer that for like my top tier clients, like the ones who are paying $150 a week. So all the systems I started developing was what I had to run a semi-private gym, but they were done so they could run both. So they could be a hybrid type model. So when COVID hit, because I was literally doing this like the month before COVID hit, because I didn't want to lose all my clients while I was working in the AI gig. It took me one day to transition to fully online. Like it was like, all right, Monday 20th, whenever it was, when it shut down. By Monday 22nd, I had Tuesday 21st, I had 15 people on the Zoom call working out with their programs ready to go. And I only did that during the first COVID lockdown because I still wanted to keep that community aspect so I can get people used to the online. So very quickly I was able to phase that out and saying, all right, cool, you don't need my help anymore. I think you can do it by yourself. It's going to be, you're good to go. You're competent. Let's get you moving. So it's just spending some time to think about the systems you need, how spending the time to set them up, and that's the time consuming part. Like running a bunch of programs is a bit time consuming, but once it's done once, it's evergreen. A good program is evergreen. It lasts forever. And you get that stuff set up, and seriously, it's you might spend two 40-hour weeks, 80 hours setting it all up, hire someone who's done it before to get sped up. And then you can spend your time on the acquisition stuff, which is, where your business needs to be at for it to grow.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And with that, bro, like it's crazy sort of for a lot of people to hear that. And I guess some of the big things that people say is like, oh, I don't do cookie cutter programs. I only do individualized programs.
Yeah.
It's a great concept. But in reality, it's probably not the case.
No, like I've said this before in one of our other talks, like I used to assess every goddamn joint in the body, and it would take 2 hours doing the assessment. No one cared. The clients thought, oh, cool, he knows his stuff, or he's showing off. They thought one of the two things. And it didn't change how I wrote the program. And everyone preaches individualized programs and says squat, bench, and deadlift, and go within 3 reps of failure for hypertrophy and be in a calorie deficit. It's not that individualized. Individualization is simply, if a client can't do an exercise or they hate it, give them something that they like. The reps and sets and the acute exercise variables are pretty consistent across the board. Like the only time you ever really need to individualize for a client realistically is a level 3 client, like a highly advanced one, because they've hit closer to their potential. So the more of a beginner, the more of a green someone is, green in the gym, they'll respond to, they'll get a result from anything. They go to Pilates and they'll get quad hypertrophy. But you get someone who's been training quads for, heavy and hard for like say I trained you, right? And I wanted to get your quads bigger. You've been squatting for, you're an Olympic lifter. That's all you do. You squat. Your life is squatting. It'd take me a lot more time to work out what you need individually to grow your quads. And I could actually do like stuff like regional hypertrophy work for you, which is highly individualized. But again, that's because you're a highly advanced lifter. So you got your greens and your intermediate clients. Don't stress about that, right? Really good programs based on principles of hypertrophy, fat loss, etc. Apply them to the client and make sure you get killer adherence and killer performance. And from there, everyone gets good results and you save time.
Absolutely, bro. And that's like where those touch points come in. And I guess that leads to our next pillar, man, is like, yes, it's cool to have all of these like templates and all of these touch points, but then you've got to predict the problems in advance.
Yes. When I wrote that today, the day before, I thought that was a really cool little quote. So it's a nice little rule of thumb that you can recycle in your brain for your business. So predict problems before they become painful. So with online clients leaving, no one ever leaves, or if they do leave, you don't want them as a client. No one ever leaves because of a minor inconvenience. Like if you don't have an exercise with a video attached once, they're not going to care. They're going to go, oh, it happens. Send me a YouTube link. Like no one's perfect and people understand that and they understand. But if a problem happens all the time, it becomes very painful and people leave. So if they don't get any service, for example, that's when they leave. So if you have this is where the client lifespan becomes really cool, because this is one way that you can improve that. Look at where people leave. Like if they're leaving at 4 weeks, if they're leaving at 2 weeks, if they're leaving at 6 weeks, if they're leaving at 36 weeks, all of that tells you what you need to do next to fill in your service offerings, fill in your service gaps. So if someone's leaving at 12 weeks, and this is what I've done with a couple of online coaches, it's like you haven't sold them. You've either sold them that it's a finite process, or you haven't given them something to move forward towards to. So how can you do that? At week 10, week 11, week 12, whatever, you start promising what's next. That's simple. Like it's an easy process to do. It's a sick process, man. When you do that, if you have a client coming in, all right, cool. When did new clients fall off? This is something that we found out in the gym. We used to do a lot of 28-day programs. Like 28-day was like our lead magnet type thing, a low barrier to entry offer. We eventually changed it from a low barrier entry offer to just a low time commitment offer. So an LCO. I just made that up. LTCO. I just made it up right then. It's a new acronym for business, where we charge the exact same price, but you only have to sign up for 28 days. And we knew that if someone was hitting all their sessions in week 3, they were converted. Like the conversion rate was 85 to 95%. We knew if someone started missing sessions in week 2, the conversion rate was 25 to 30%.
Yep.
It was easy to figure out because we would just look at their team builder app, the one we use and I still use to this day. And it kind of gives you a color flag system, red, green, and yellow, if someone's done a workout or missed a workout. If I knew someone had done all their workouts and they were going through, they're going to stay because they're getting the experience and they felt fully qualified. They didn't lose anything. If they weren't doing the workouts, the reason they weren't doing the workouts, the initial reaction, which is ego driven, is to go, oh, it's their fault, they're lazy, all that stuff, right? It's not that. It's the fact that the onboarding and they don't feel comfortable. That's simple as that. So we then look down and go, all right, cool. What's the onboarding process for a client? How do we sort that out? How do we automate it so we don't miss those steps? What are the touch points? So it comes back to pillar 2. What are the touch points that we can have that prevent the painful things or can prevent the problems from becoming painful? This sounds like a catchphrase talk. This is terrible. Now, catchphrases are good because you remember the stuff, right?
You're
It's
starting to
like,
sound like a marketer, Paul.
don't go there, man. But that, I love marketing. Like marketing is great. I just bought a course the other day because someone marketed so damn effectively on Instagram constantly. I was like, you know what? I just have to buy his stuff. I haven't even looked at it yet. I just bought it because he was good at marketing. I was like, shit, I really need to go into that course. Jay Alderton, he does some really good story stuff. And it's interesting because his content's actually, the stories he tells in his videos are so boring. They're just old fables that he's repurposed. But man, he gets so much engagement out of it and he markets it really well.
Yeah.
You look at the content sucks. But anyway, that's another discussion. But we predict, like with the onboarding stuff, like, and one of the things I predicted from online stuff, because my retention always wasn't as high, if people don't do the exercises well, they get hurt, they don't get results, they don't enjoy it. So by simply getting people to, put in that time to film the video and for me to actually have a look at it, I added 10 minutes to that week for that client, which I only had to do once because the exercise programs last for a long period of time. That client went from staying from 4 weeks or whatever it is to staying up for a year. Would you spend 10 minutes to make $2,000? Is the question I ask my coaches. And if they say no, I say, okay. I swear I'm going to get out of here. Like no one's ever said no yet. So just identifying those pain points. As soon as you've done that, you create a solution for each single one in your offering. Clients stay around forever. They got no excuse. The only way they'll leave is if they go broke. Which one of the coaches I'm working with now, he's now running, how many is he running? He's running 130 or something now online
130 clients. Yep.
It's ridiculous. He only had the only people he drops off now, or dropping off now, are people who like lose their jobs or, something like bad happens.
And that's crazy because like, if we didn't message him to get out of bed in the morning, he probably wouldn't because he only works an hour a day. For 130 clients. It's crazy.
Yeah, the rest of the time he's messaging other people. Where he's hassling people to put up their stuff and actually do the work because he understands the value of doing the work in the initial stages, which he can't fathom why people don't. So if you just go through your customer journey, which is a super simple process, identify where you lose the clients or where clients get pissed off, fill in those gaps, automate it, your business, your attention goes up and you've got a very valuable business at that point.
Absolutely, man. And like all of those key points there is like, it sounds really simple, and the hardest thing for most fitness business owners is actually having a profitable business over time. Big problems are people drop off all the time. They might get lucky and get 10 people in their 28-day program. After that 28 days, they got no clients after that. And you can be the world's best salesman. You can do all of this stuff. But if you just provide a better service, you're going to have a lot clients for a lot longer, and it's just going to make your life a lot easier.
And that's what I found, because like you said earlier, like I'm starting to sound like a marketer. I suck at it. We've talked about it. It's not my strong point by any stretch, and I recognize that, which is probably half the battle. I know my strong point is my service offering and my program design is top notch. So absolutely, I keep people there because the service is top notch. If I marketed, the scale could be like scary.
It is,
which,
man.
It's growing now at a rapid rate, which is good.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And like I've seen a lot of stuff, and even my business, before I sort of met you with our 100 solutions and that sort of thing, I've never actually seen anyone being able to deliver the quality as quick as you do. And also with the consistency, and that's just from a client perspective as well. It's absolutely incredible, and you can just see why. And it doesn't take you a lot of time. It just simply takes you a message to send. The big thing is what you said. Those first 2 40-hour weeks to get it done, but also just having someone that's done it before. Get someone to give you the shortcut so you don't need to take 10 or 20 years. And I think one of the best things that's helped even my career as a fitness coach was I just went to people who have done the shit for 20 years. What are they doing? Learn it from them. It's a lot faster than trying to figure it out on your own. It's a lot faster.
Oh man, absolutely. Half the stuff I learned was from, well, not half stuff, all the stuff I learned from some other people and who've done it before. And you know what? I I paid a lot of freaking money to do it sometimes. I remember paying Mr. Poliquin $1,000 US to go hang out with him for an hour and ask him questions. And you know what? Totally wasn't worth it for the actual business advice, but for the actual experience and then seeing all the other stuff he did and how he carried himself, it was absolutely worth it.
Absolutely, man. And like, I think that's is a big thing, is like, you're not often paying for an outcome. You're paying for a way of how someone thinks.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's incredible. So just to recap, bro, like our big things today is like, look, if you want to keep clients and never lose a client again, if you want to increase your average lifetime customer value, which is so much easier. If you get 100 clients in a year, which can be done quite easily with some solid marketing principles, but if you can keep them for 5 years, you know, you've gone from a client who is worth, you know, $100 in the 28-day program to a client who is now worth $10,000. 100 clients at $10,000. I can't add that up fast enough. It's $1 million business. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so all it really takes, man, we've got our 3 pillars, is, you know, give them a bit of love. Give them as much love as you did chasing them down. Treat them like, you know, it's your long lost love, and actually look after them. But also those touch points, make sure that, you know, you automate what you can, digitize your knowledge, make sure that you systemize and outsource your brain to your phone, and make sure things are, you know, actually able to deliver. Put that upfront work, 20 to 40 hours for a couple of weeks. And then the big one is protecting those problems before they happen is absolutely critical.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and that's ironically, they're all the same principle as good program design. For you doing next programming phase. So a lot of trainers, they think about this, and the language is weird. Convert it into a program, like convert it into what we do for programming. You do progressive overload. You know, you programming. You might do prehab stuff. For why not? Because if you're doing like prehab stuff, like for you, for example, Olympic lifting, you get strong rotator cuff because you don't want the bar to rip your shoulders out if you go catch a snatch too far back, right? Cool. Predict a problem in your business too. It's the same principle.
Absolutely, bro. Now, awesome, man. Man, cannot thank you enough for your time. And that's a very valuable podcast for those who take action. Sweet guys, if you need to reach out to us, obviously you can reach out to Paul as well. Got some exciting things in terms of the program design and system delivery coming up very soon. And then also us with the Mamba method. This is all part of what we do, helping you guys change the world one client at a time.
That's right.
All right, brother. Cool.
All right, man.